Yo, what is up YouTube? It's your boy Legend and I'm back with another video. You already know what this is just by looking at the thumbnail. Now, I'm still sick, so just bear with me throughout the duration of this video. But without further ado, let's get into this intro so we can start this what if.
挽回
これが私の残白刀の真の力だ。
Everyone watched Naruto get emotional with his Zanpakuto. To them, it was odd, but Naruto didn't care. After a short time, Naruto stopped and Aizen stepped forward and began to speak. Now that you all have gotten your Zanpakuto, the only thing that remains is to assign you all to a squad. I want the four of you to come back for squad placements. Be ready to impress, because all the captains will be there. With that, they all left, with Ranjiku offering to take Naruto out sometime. Naruto refused, not willing to cross the line of friends simply because she already had a love interest in the form of Captain Genichimaru. Naruto walked home. Upon arriving, Naruto immediately sat down in a meditating position and went into his inner mind. Naruto came face to face with a very different Kurama. He was expecting to see a very big nine-tailed fox, but instead what he was met with was a man around 6'2", short black hair like Sasuke's, a salt and pepper style beard, a crimson cloak with a hood, and his eyes were a deep red with a black pupil. Because of the eye color, it almost made Kurama look like an older Sasuke. You know, it's rude to stare. You know that, Naruto. Naruto laughed. Kinda hard. You just look like Sasuke. Surprisingly, this got no reaction from his lifelong friend. Kurama pulled down his hood. Well, besides the point. Now, since you're here, how about we get you back to your previous level of power? However, the methods we use now will be different. Kurama opened his cloak and unsheathed a Zanpakuto that looked exactly like Naruto's. The only thing that changed is that the Zanpakuto Kurama held lit up with a deep orange and yellow flame. Naruto's eyes went wide. The sensation coming from the blade was so familiar, but at the same time, he felt no presence of the blade. Kurama chuckled at Naruto's expression. Think of this as just a little taste of the power that's soon to come to you. With that, Kurama blitzed Naruto. Outside, Soifon entered Naruto's home. She immediately stopped. She looked at some of the furniture floating 3 inches off of the ground. She also noticed that Naruto was releasing a consistent stream of Ryetsu. It was almost suffocating. She walked to his room and saw him sitting in a lotus position. She placed a hand on him and instantly pulled away, shaking her hand. He was hot to the touch. Back in Naruto's mind, he and Kurama came to a stop. Your friend is outside. We've been at this for about 4 hours, but it's been around 10 minutes out there. Naruto nodded as he left his inner mind and opened his eyes. What's up, Soy? What do you need? Soifon shook her head. She wasn't about to tell him that his core temperature was most likely sitting around 130 degrees. Well, for one, you were leaking a steady flow of Ryatsu, and your furniture was levitating off of the ground while you meditated. Naruto shrugged. And two, I'm taking you out before your placement test in 2 hours. You just graduated and finally became a Soul Reaper. Naruto jumped up. How bold of you, Soy. Asking me on a date already. Soifon sputtered, not expecting Naruto to take things there. Naruto then began to laugh as he slung an arm around Soifon. I'm kidding, come on. I just got done training. I'm starving. The two of them walked for a while. Before they went into a small ramen stand, they sat and ordered. Naruto looked up and facepalmed. Ranjiku was sitting only 2 tables away from him and Soifan with her lover Jin. The two of them then started to move closer to Naruto and Soifan as they took a seat next to them. Naruto spoke before anyone else. The lieutenant of Squad 10 and Captain Genichimaru, to what do I owe the honor? Ranjiku stared at him for a second. How did you know I was a lieutenant? After all, I was in the same class as you. Naruto laughed at her. It's simple, really. One, when we were in class, your Ryatsu was always well controlled. And when it wasn't, it was like you were forcing it to be chaotic. 2, you always shot your Aikido spells like you already had practice using them. Your skill with a Zanpakuto was always good as well. And 3, you have on the lieutenant patch of Squad 10. Ranjiku looked onto her sleeve of her Soul Reaper attire. She was indeed wearing the lieutenant patch. Naruto then looked over at Jin, who was looking at him in a strange way while smiling. Technically, he wasn't really looking at him because his eyes were closed, but it was still making him uncomfortable. Jin's point of view. I listened to the reasoning of the newly graduated Soul Reaper, who was currently catching the attention of all the other captains. It was obvious why he was talked about. His skills were already on display. His ability to observe and notice details about people is amazing. From the start, he knew something was up with Ranjiku, just by her control over her Ryatsu. He would do well in my squad. He would be a great help in my plans, but would he be willing to walk the same path that I'm going to walk? Naruto-san, how would you like to become a member of Squad 3? Regular point of view. Naruto looked at the captain of Squad 3. To a certain extent, he reminded Naruto of Orochimaru, but he could tell Jin wasn't as unhinged. Joining Squad 3, I don't know. I'm sure Soifan wants me to join Squad 2 with her, and I wouldn't be surprised if the lazy guy wanted me to join his squad as well. Not to mention that Captain Aizen wanted me to be his apprentice. Jin nodded. Soifan was surprised. Same for Ranjiku. Naruto had options on which squad he could go to. Usually someone would just be placed into a regular squad upon graduation if they were average. But because Naruto graduated early and at the top of his classes, most of the 13 squads wanted him. Honestly, in Ranjiku's opinion, Naruto would most likely end up in one of 4 squads. The most likely was in Squad 6 under Byakuya. The second most likely was under Squad 11 with Kenpachi. Then there was her and Toshiro's squad, which was Squad 10. And lastly, there was Squad 2. She looked back up and saw Naruto conversing with Soifan. She watched the two chuckle before they got up and left. Looking at the clock on the wall, she saw that it was almost time for the 3 graduates to do their placement tests. Naruto grabbed Soifan by the shoulder and shunshined away, appearing in front of the Spiritual Arts Academy. He looked around to see most of the captains and lieutenants standing in a line 1 through 13. Naruto soon felt a slender pair of arms around his shoulder as he turned to see the captain of Squad 2, Yoriichi. Why even go through these silly questions, Naruto-san? Why not just tell everyone that you wish to join Squad 2? Yoriichi said, giving Naruto the puppy eyes. Naruto looked away, trying not to look into the eyes of the woman. It's not that simple, Yoriichi-san. You know there are other captains that want me in their squads as well. Yoriichi stood back and pouted as she went back into line with all the other captains. Well, I want you more than anyone else wants you here. Naruto blushed, not really sure how the sexy captain of Squad 2 meant her statement. Soifon walked with Yoriichi, taking her place by her side. And soon, Rukia and Momo arrived and stood by Naruto. Seconds later, Ranjiku and Jin flashed up into view as they took their places in line. So, how exactly does this work? Naruto felt a sharp jab in his side as he fumbled over. Rukia stood over him, facing motionless as she spoke. Be patient. We must wait for her headmaster before we start. Naruto began to stand as he heard a chilling voice call out in his defense. Rukia-san, can you please refrain from putting your hands on Naruto in a violent way? The question coming from Unohana was no question. It sounded like one, but it held a deadly and chilling undertone of a woman protecting what was hers. Rukia quickly nodded, not wanting to get on the bad side of any of the captains. All the other captains looked at Unohana. Some of them heard that tone of voice from her before, and that was before she became the loving healer that she is now. But the protectiveness she showed towards Naruto was something to take note of. Headmaster Yamamoto then walked onto the field with his Zanpakuto in cane form. He stood in front of his children before he spoke in his old and experienced voice. I would hope to have put an end to this. Yamamoto paused. He waited a moment, looking for the correct word before he continued. Put an end to this selection method many years ago. But it still exists. This isn't the normal selection. This is something that is only used for those who were advanced enough in the Spiritual Arts Academy. Before this method was how I had to pick and how I trained each Shinigami that made up the Gote 13. All of the Shinigami that stand behind me, except for 5 of them, have been picked and trained using this method. Aizen, please lead us to the World Penetration Gate. Once Yamamoto finished speaking, Aizen began to walk and everyone followed in a line. Once arriving at the gate, the doors opened and Aizen stepped forward while Unohana explained all of the procedures of the selection tests. Seconds later, everyone stood in a dark plain. There was sand underneath them, and it stretched for miles and miles with no end. Trees grew in off places, though there were few in number, and the wind was non-existent at the moment. Welcome to the Dangai. This is where every hollow and hollow-made creature comes from. The description given from Aizen was vague. In a few minutes, the 3 of you will be swarmed by them, and you all will have to come out alive. If you seem to not be able to handle the numbers, we will step in. Once Aizen finished speaking, he and the rest of the captains and lieutenants jumped back before they all heard a mass screeching sound. Wait, what? Screamed Rukia. They're kidding, right? Said Momo. Naruto looked up and whistled as he found the 3 of them surrounded as the hollows banged and slammed into the barrier around them. 3 versus 100. That's not fair, don't you think? Naruto felt the pull on his mind, so he closed his eyes and found himself on top of the Hokage mountain. Naruto, don't use it just yet. Wait until you have to use it. Naruto nodded to Kurama before he vanished and opened his eyes. Soon, the barrier dropped as Rukia and Naruto moved. However, Momo stayed stock still in fear. Naruto saw this and moved and stood in front of her. He grabbed her and moved to Rukia before a barrier formed around the three of them. Really, Momo? Is this what we get? You graduated early and at the top of your classes with us. But when we need you the most, you freeze? What are you scared of? There is nothing to be scared of. You sit here and you freeze. They even said it themselves. They won't let us get hurt. We have it easy. The captains looked down at the three that stood in the barrier. The boy was really giving a motivational speech to Momo. Naruto then smiled before bumping fists with a smiling Momo before he dropped the barrier. The three moved, Naruto being the fastest of the three, as they all destroyed hollow after hollow. Soon the placement test turned into a little game of who can kill the most hollows between the three. Rukia shot off a Keto spell, killing 7 hollows, passing Naruto's score by 1. 37! Screamed Rukia. Naruto flashed it between 11 hollows as they all dropped. And that makes 47. Now, you two gotta do better. Momo did her own little flash step between 4 hollows as she killed them and stood next to Naruto. I'm only at 36. It's not that bad. Momo was breathing hard, and so was Rukia. Naruto saw this and told them to stop and just leave the rest to him, but they refused. Naruto didn't argue, not having the time to. As more hollows came and took the places of the ones that were cut down. Off on the side, Byakuya spoke. Rukia and Momo seem to be tiring, but Naruto still seems to have energy left. We may need to step in soon and stop this stupid game that the blonde has started. Right after he said that, Momo was thrown back as she panted. A hollow came pouncing down onto her, but Naruto jumped in front of her. Bakudo number 81, Danku. The hollow was blown back, and Momo stood. Leave now. You're becoming a burden. You're too tired. Go and rest. Naruto gave her no time to speak as he kicked her. She flew back and landed next to the captain. Naruto then heard something land next to him as he looked. His eyes widened when he saw what it was. It was Rukia's Zanpakuto. He looked up to see her firing Keto spell after Keto spell as she was getting swarmed. At this moment, both Byakuya and Naruto moved. Naruto put his blade of the Zanpakuto to his palm as he sliced, while Byakuya tilted his blade in front of him. Scatter, Senbon Sakura. A mass of blades moved off. Link with me, Kurama. A golden light shot off into the sky. And when it was gone, Naruto moved at immense speed, faster than Senbon Sakura, as he ran through the horde of hollows and grabbed Rukia before moving again and placing her next to Byakuya. Naruto was sweating a bit, and everyone looked at him in shock. Naruto laughed. You all look as though you've seen an impossible feat. Naruto then released his Shikai before he fell back panting. Damn, I was never this tired when I used Kurama's power before. Why is it such a strain all of a sudden? But guys, I'm going to end it off right here. If you guys enjoyed the video, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe while you're at it. But without further ado, I'm out and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.